queridos amigos. Hoy día desde Estados Unidos con una gran persona. Hi everyone, this is Christian Vallejo from VIK and the big sessions today with Jillian Dara. Hi Jillian.
Hi Christian.
How are you?
Great to see you.
Great to be with you today. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Salud.
Salud, salud. And you know that today is a very special day in Chile. Today is the Carmener Day.
It is.
Which in 1994 was found in between the vineyards in Chile by a French specialist, VIK. So today it's a really important day for us in Chile. Cheers to the Carmener and cheers for this conversation that we will have.
That's a great fun fact. I did not know that, so thank you.
Well, we are very happy to have this opportunity to talk with you, especially because you have two passions, right? Travel around the world and wine, right?
Yes. All the good things.
So, yes, and so tell us, please, to our audience, to know a little bit more about your experience. Tell us about those passions, how they began, how you get connected with wine and travel all around the world. I see the pictures that you have in different places in the world, amazing places. So tell us about that experience.
So it's funny because for me, I've always appreciated travel and loved travel. But now that I've moved into wine, I associate my first experiences with wine with travel, because some of my early travel days, I was traveling to places like Argentina, Spain, France, you know, like the most famed wine destinations. And I would go on these like food excursions and do like food and wine, I'd do like cooking classes or like wine tastings, and I was like 16, 17, 18, and I was just like had this appreciation for wine from such an early age, and also associated wine with travel from such an early age. So for me, I got into travel because I grew up on an island, and I was always traveling, always on a plane or on a boat, and that was just so regular for me. And then when I went to college, I really focused on becoming a travel journalist. And my first gig out of college was in Chile. I lived in Santiago, and so I could really, you know, associate both food and wine, wine, and travel in that realm in Santiago. So I really dove in there, and from there, it's really taken off. And I'm super excited to have those two connected, because I think the best way you can tell more into like a culture and into a destination is through its land, its offerings, and you can do that by trying all the food and wine. So that's a little bit of my background.
Wow, that's amazing. Obviously, you are looking for experiences in different places, and we have that in common, because we are an experience. We believe that our wine has to be an experience. When everybody comes here and visit us in our hotel, or when they come here to taste the wine, for us it's not just the wine. Everything has to be an experience, something unforgettable, something that you will have for you for all your life. So that's something really important for us, and something that you always shows in all your travels and all your pictures and about the experience.
Thank you. Yeah, and no, it's definitely, I think like experiences are so important to understand a destination, and without that, it's, you know, you're just traveling and seeing pretty things and not fully connecting to a culture. So I think the best way to do that obviously is through wine and food, and like I said, but also when you go to a country, you can like if I were to travel to Chile, I could sit in a bar in Santiago and drink wine, but I wouldn't have the fullest appreciation of the vineyard and like of the variety until I've been outside of there, which sometimes outside of the city, which sometimes requires, you know, a 4-hour drive or a 5-hour drive or a separate flight, but it's so worth it. And I think, you know, you won't regret taking those extra hours so that you can appreciate the product a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before to taste the wine, let me tell you about our story and our experience. I would like to start with our terroir, where everything starts. So here you have a picture of our terroir from a drone. It's an amazing terroir that it's really close to the ocean. So at the end of the picture, at the other side is the ocean, 35 miles. So it's really close. We have a beautiful influence of the ocean that makes this terroir really something special, exceptional. So there in that picture, you can see how the clouds that come from the Pacific Ocean comes into the property as a wave, the same way as the wind comes in and refresh the whole valley. That's something really particular. But mainly it's about to create an experience. So you know that the family, Alexander VIK and Carrie VIK, they start this idea, this dream in 2004. And they start to think how to create, to have a world-class wine and where they have to have it. So here you have a picture of them, Alexander and Carrie VIK. And they tried to find and spot an area, a terroir, a different terroir. They were looking in France, in Spain, in Argentina, and Chile, and finally they decided to stay here because of this diversity that we have here. So it's an amazing place where you have different altitudes, different heights, you have slopes, you have hills, you have different sun exposure, different temperatures. So it's an amazing place in terms of diversity. And so when they decide to be here, they were thinking about to produce this wine, but when they feel when they get connected with the nature, they say, wow, we have to do something else. We have to have our own home here. And they start to think about to create some place to come here, to stay, to enjoy about the nature. So then they decide to have the hotel. And then it became an experience. And also we start with our philosophy, holism. We were working on every single detail in order to get the quality. And then we realized that the philosophy to work was holism. That is, the whole is more than the sum of each part. So it's a concept that comes from Aristotle, and we realized that we were paying attention. We were paying attention in every detail to produce this wine and to make this an experience, a different experience. So since we start with that, we said, okay, if we want to be in the part of we want to be with the great wines of the world, what we have to do different from others. And then we start to plant our vineyard in a different ways that you find here in Chile, very high density, 100% rootstocks. So here you have a picture of our vineyard. As you can see, it's like in Bordeaux, very, very close, each row from the other. It's really high density, 10,000 plants per hectare, very few production per vine. So everything was connected in terms to produce quality.
And I think the vineyard and the hotel, it just shows how you tied like wine and travel into an experience, because the hotel is super luxury and so beautiful, and the vineyards, it's right on the vineyards and overlooks like just everything is so amazing there. And so I visited 5 years ago when it was quite new, but I know you guys have been doing so many different things. So if you want to share anything before we dive in with that correlation, let me know.
Well, we have here some new things to show you. So once everything starts again, you're more than very, very welcome. We have today, we have, for example, a culinary garden, 100% organic. So our chef Pablo, he cooked everything there every day, fresh. So they come down, they harvest what they have fresh, ready to go, you know, and every day they have something different that they cook, an amazing flavor that pairs really good with the wine. So I spend a lot of time with them, with Paolo there, you know, and since he's cooking, we taste the wine. So everything has to pair. So we are just taking care about every detail to make this an experience. And there are also two projects that you know that we have been working on this last 2 years, and really fantastic new ideas, and trying to show, as we're doing with our food in the hotel, in our kitchen, we're trying to make our wine also 100% just from this terroir, because the only thing that we have here in our wine that is not from us is the barrel. So we're trying to get that microcyclination for the tannins from a different way, and we are working in two projects that probably we'll talk about that in the tasting, that makes the wine even more from here, you know.
Yes, definitely, and I know we've talked about that this summer when we were chatting and catching up. So I'm excited to talk a little bit more about that and share with everyone else who's watching.
Yeah, well, it has been a big effort from the family, from the team. And also, let me tell you that there's something really that we really paying attention in everything that we do. It's to be sustainable, responsible with the nature. You know, our terroir for us is something that we really take care of it. And we are not certified organic. We are not declared biodynamic. We are holistic, but we take part of that philosophies in our own philosophy. And we are really, you know, aware to protect our nature. For the family, our terroir is something that we have to keep it as natural as possible. Every effort, it's about to be very responsible. For example, the wines, there are no intervention, no addings, no filtrations. It's wild yeast. The only thing that we are using that is not from us is the barrels. In the winery, every building, the hotel, the same thing. They were built in order to be very efficient in how to use the energy to don't contaminate. For example, the roof that you see behind me in the winery, it's a special roof that we can work during the day without turning the lights on. For example, in this picture, you see our water mirror. Underneath, we have the barrel warehouse. So that water mirror let us work in that warehouse without using that much energy, because that water and being on the ground, we have the temperature and the humidity without using that much energy. Also, that roof isolates the building from outside. So during the summer, if we have to cool down a tank, we just fight with the temperature in the tank and not the outside temperature. So we harvest during the night. We harvest in some moment during the night. So we receive the grapes fresh, so we don't have to cool them down for a cold maceration before the fermentation. So everything, it's about to be very responsible with the nature. Our bottles are very light in terms of the glass. We don't want to have heavy bottles. We want to use just enough glass for the bottle. Our cork are natural, 100% natural, no process. So everything, it's about being very sustainable.
Definitely. How's the 2020 harvest?
Well, the 2020 harvest wasn't easy. Two factors. One was very, very hot, so it was very dry. And the other one was COVID, but we get used to that, and we take all the rules and all the safety procedures very fast. So in 2-3 days, everybody was wearing, mask and distance and everything. But the most important issue was that this summer was really, really hot, and probably the last year was the most driest year in the last 20 years. So that made us to harvest earlier, like 1 month before. The other 2 years that they were really hot was the 12th and the 17th. The 14 too, but 12 was hot during December, the 14 was hot during March, and the 17 was really hot during December till February, a little bit of March, and the 2020 was really hot from December till the end the season. So it was difficult in that way. That make us harvest very early to keep the freshness of the fruit. Of course, I was trying to find also the right tannins, so it was a combination a little bit different this year than other years, but the wines are doing really good. Now I have some wines in amphora, so that's also a good thing. And we are just starting to, we are already toasting some oak barrels that they were old. We are reusing them, so that's something really, sustainable. And now we receive all the machines to make our own barrels from France and also the States, the oak. So now we are just putting in place our machines, the new machines, and we will start to produce our own barrels, and we will toast it with our own oak. So that's the new project that we are now starting, and we are really like kids with a new toy, but really, really fun. This year has been difficult, but that part has been really, exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely a silver lining. At least you've been able to work on that, and hopefully for next year, I can't wait to stay in touch and hear about how it goes, and in a few years, try all the great wine from it.
Yeah. This has been fantastic. Yesterday we were, having meetings by Zoom with the people in France that they send us the machine, and we were trying to connect them to make them start to work. So very excited about that new project. It's something that really fun.
Christian, are the amphoras vessels that we talked about earlier when we talked in the summer, are they done yet?
Well, we have already 10 of them. I've been working with them with different wines, mainly Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon. The max oxygenation that we have there is totally different from the one that we can get from the barrel. So we have been doing also some trials, and they're making, some very vibrant wines. Like they are like running, like they're moving. They're like really, really vibrant wine, beautiful acidity, minerality, crisp, really something totally beautiful. And so we have to continue working. We have 10 more that they will come. My friend now, the amphora maker, he's finished the last 10 that we will receive this year. So, that it's going really, really, well, something really exceptional. Really, I'm really happy with that.
Amazing, thanks.
Well, that picture that you see there is the one where we dig very deep and we grab the clay from one of the valleys that we have here, and that's it's you see it's a clay that it's dark, it's like gray dark, really naturally plastic. I don't know how to say that, how to translate that in a very good way, but it's really like very, when it's wet, it's like really,
like a bit elastic.
Yeah, and this is how we started. That takes like 1 month to go up there. He makes 10 centimeters. He has to wait like they get a little bit dry, then 10 more centimeters. So it's really a very long process, handcraft. So it's an amazing process.
Exciting. I'm excited to follow that too, because I've been following that since, I feel like I've been following you guys since the beginning. So I'm like a big fangirl.
Thank you very much. Well, let's jump into the tasting. Well, I see there some friends say hi, Will. Hi, Will. Well, here we have Miña Cala. Well, I always start with VIK, but I will let it here. And
yeah. What do you want us to start with, Christian?
Yeah, Miña Cala.
Okay.
Miña Cala, we have here Miña Cala 2016. Miña Cala, for me, it's an introduction to VIK. It's a wine, I worked in France 4 times, and I don't like to say the second wine. I prefer to say it's an introduction to VIK. Normally, because I like to say that VIK is a book. It's a very complex wine that tells you a story. Every glass is a chapter. Every sip is a page. So Mia Cala is an introduction to that story. Mainly, it's a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, 67%, 17% Carmener. It has a touch of Cabernet Franc and Syrah, 4% Franc, 1% Syrah, and 11% Merlot. It's a very dynamic wine, really soft tannins. Look at the fruit that we have here. Good. 100% in French oak. Here in 2016, it's 15% new oak. The rest is first and second use. The idea here is to have a dynamic wine, elegant, but really soft tannins, easy to drink, very easy to pair with food.
Yeah, it has a very silky finish. It's very smooth.
Yes, that's true. It has a beautiful tannins that they are like dancing, but really, really soft. They have a beautiful finish, beautiful acidity, and beautiful nose. This fruit, red fruit, strawberry.
So I let this one open up for a little bit before I signed on, and I tried it, when I first opened it, and then when I've tried it a few hours later, and it's a lot softer. A lot of the berries are coming through. So how soon would you recommend opening this, and would you decant it before a meal?
Well, I like to decant the wines like no more than 30 minutes. For me, the decant has to be something that opens the wine. So normally I use this device here. It's really helps to open the wine, and I like that evolution that when the wine is open, that evolution that is telling you something different every time. So when you take too much time in decanting, some of that pass in the decanter, not in your glass. So I like to have it like 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes maximum, or something like this that is open the wine while you are serving the wine. It's a really good device. And but what I like is to just open the wine and let the story begin in the glass.
Definitely. Yeah, I've had it in my glass, so it's really interesting to see that change within just an hour or so since I opened it. So yes. Love that about wine. So
well, this is the type of wine that tells you a story that change. VIK is a lot more complex, but it's a wine that it has that part that really tells you something. It pairs very well with food. So while you are eating and you have one sip and then the other one, it changes a little bit. So that's a good thing.
And this is an amazing blend because it's primarily Cab Sav, but there's also four other grape varieties in it?
Yeah, so five varieties. Cabernet Sauvignon mainly, then Merlot. Carmener, it's the second one, 17%, 67% Cabernet Sauvignon, then it's Merlot, 11%, then Franc, 4%, and Syrah, a touch of Syrah, 1%, just to have a touch of flowers there,
Yeah, it's delicious.
Thank you very much. It's really, it's very daily wine that you have every day, it's really easy, easy to pair with food, And the name
what would you pair this with?
Was that? Sorry?
What would you pair this with?
Well, normally here we do something really. It's a kind of let's say here we call it croqueta. It's like you have a crab, so you make kind of a crab inside of this, and it has also the ink of the octopus on the top, and that is really fantastic with this wine. It's really umami flavor. It's like you have all that power and all that elegant flavor of the crab, and then when you bite it, you feel that getting milk, and then it comes the ink of the octopus, and you have this wine with this acidity and fresh fruit. It's really an amazing sensation.
Sounds delicious. I miss all the fresh seafood in Chile.
Well, that's, you know, we have the most longer coast in the world, and we have a lot of you know, seafood. And here, our chef Pablo, he has his own fisher men that they're, you know, like they're friends. So he goes to the coast of Pichilemu, probably you know Pichilemu surf area, and he has his exclusive people that they you know, they catch something for him and they select it, you know, and he bring it to the hotel and he cooks them in the same day, really fresh. So he's doing amazing things in our hotel, you know. So you have to come and you will see that he's doing really fresh, organic things, and from very little producers.
Incredible. All right. So what do we got next, Christian?
Well, so we jump to VIK.
Okay.
You know that normally everybody goes from, you know, like I like this kind of a podium. You know, this is number one. That's the number two, and this is number the third, like a podium in the Formula One. But I like to go in this way because these two are related in terms of the style of wine, more traditional, more, let's say, to make it easier to understand, more Bordeaux style, more Medoc style, and then La Cuvette is more New World. So these two are connected. That's why the color of the label, and there's some relation in the label.
Right.
Well, Milla Cala, Milla means gold. That's a word from Mapudumbun, Mapuches people, you know, our native people. Mm-hmm. And Cala is the translation of VIK. So it's you know, this area, this DO, it's Millahue. Milla means gold, the way place, the golden place. So the native people used to call this area Millahue. I'm talking about a lot of time ago. And that's why the name of this wine. VIK obviously is the family name. This is our main icon wine. Everything was done to create this wine. You know, what we want here is really elegant wine, complex, fine tannins, vibrant, with tension. The idea is it has to be a wine that it's easy to read, let's say easy to drink, but with complexity. Complexity for me means a lot of layers of flavor, a lot of layers of aromas. So in every glass change, it's always telling you something. It's the kind of wine that you taste the first glass, and then 3 glasses, the third is totally different from the first one. You know, that's the complexity what I'm talking about. So now we have the VIK 2013. It's a blend of also 4 varieties. It's 62% Cabernet Sauvignon, 17% Cabernet Franc, 14 Cardonnay, and then the rest is Merlot. It's the first blend with no Syrah in this wine.
I remember tasting this when I came to visit 5 years ago. And it was such, you know, that, like you said, it's your iconic wine. So it's such a classic introduction to your vineyard. And I remember the like spicy, intense notes. And for me, I was such a white wine drinker up until that point. So I was like appreciating the Casablanca Sauv Blancs, and that was like to me so light. And then I tried this, it was so different. And I ended up I like fell in love with Chilean red wine from then on out. My palate changed, and it was so interesting to watch change. So like taking a trip down memory lane when I tried this again tonight.
Wow, good. You know, this wine it's really the kind of wine that it's telling you a story, but tells you about the terroir too. It has a freshness that it's from this wind that come from the ocean and refresh the valley. The soils here are deep in the foot slope, the foothills, deep in clay. You have granitic soils. You have a beautiful expression of the Cabernet Franc here, like minerality that makes the wine really vibrant. this is a year that for me is really special because in this vintage, it's when I realized that the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Cabernet Franc was really different from other Cabernet Sauvignon that we have here in Chile, and was also our, the varieties that will make this story different. And then I decided to go up in Cabernet Sauvignon. From normally we had 50%, we go up to 62%. Normally we use 6% Cabernet Franc, and now we're using 17% Cabernet Franc. It's really a different wine. It's, for me, I call this vintage the change. I always give names to the vintage, and this is really the change because we change a little bit the style. We move more to Cabernet Sauvignon, and we move more to the expression of two valleys of this terroir. We have 6 valleys in this terroir. $23 months in barrel.
Like you mentioned, I'm sorry?
No, I was saying that it's 23 months in barrel, but please go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, as you mentioned a little bit earlier with some of the wines that feel like alive, I feel like this is very, it's constant motion. Like, I feel like this is very like vivid and alive. So I think it's super vibrant for an older red.
Wow, I love that. That's something that really makes me, that moves me, because this is what we were looking for. You have a vibrant wine. Look, this wine it's 2013. Probably it's hard to find this year in a Chilean wine already. Most of the vineyards are all other wineries, their wines are 17s or 16. This is 13. It's alive. It had been in barrel for 23 months, 100% new oak. And here you feel first the fruit, the spicy flavor, the complexity. And if I mention the oak, then maybe you will find a little touch of coffee, a little touch of almond. It's really well balanced, and it's beautiful, vibrant wine that it has a lot of. You can keep this wine for a very long time.
Yeah, I think if anything, there's just like that a little bit of like lingering of like dark cocoa on the tongue. But like that's at the very end, and you really have to be like aware that it's there.
Yeah. You see that freshness that you have in the glass. It's beautiful.
Great color too.
Yeah.
It's like hard to see on the screen, but it's like this beautiful. Almost has like a orange.
That's the moment of the harvest, and also how we work the pampovers. It's the commitment is quality, and we're really aware how to work all that part. The aromas, the color, the expression, the terroir flavors. Everything has to be connected, and this is the wine that it's really well balanced. And so you have all that you mentioned. You have that freshness, you have that color, you have that beautiful, dynamic part of the wine. Well, let's move, and we change the style. Okay?
Perfect.
So we go now to La Pubelle 2015. This is our La Más Bella, the most beautiful, La Pubelle. Well, this is the label is a piece of art. It's our hotels, and mainly this hotel, it's about art. Every room, it's about an artist, and all the furnitures are winner of an award or a contest. So it's kind of a modern museum of art. And one of the rooms is about Gonzalo Cienfuegos, a Chilean artist. One of the piece of art is 3 bottles double magnum paint, and one of them is this one. So the story is that in 2015, just before to launch the hotel, well, you know that I've been here since the beginning, so I have a lot of different stories. But when we started the construction of the hotel, well, that was 2013, and we finished in 2015. And before to launch that, you know, the family, they come here, mainly Carrie Babe with a book with the different rooms and of the art and where she wants all the furnitures and all that. And they come here to check every room. And when they were, you know, checking every room, they come to this one, to Gonzalo's and Fuegos. They get in, and Carrie Babe, she just walked through, and she goes directly to this piece of art. She grabs the bottle, and she said, wow, this is the most beautiful. So then Alex get up, this is the name of the bottle, this will be the label. And then we start this idea to have this piece of art in the label for this wine. And then this wine became, you know, the wine of the family, because they're very passionate about art. They collect art. They're very passionate about wine, but also they're passionate about the experience. That's why they are in the hotels. And, you know, Alex was born in this. His family has hotels in Spain and, you know, Central America, and so this wine became the essential, you know, the family in some way. And well, let's taste the wine. That's the story of the label.
And the hotel truly is a work of art. So to be able to combine that into the wine, again, like just coming back to experiences, I think you guys have tied that in so well. So I love to see that the labels have changed a little bit since I first visited.
Well, this when Alex and Kerry, they decide to use this as a label, we were like, wow, this is really totally different from everyone. This is something that we were like sure that everybody will like it, but we were the first one with this, so it was, you know, we were like what everybody will say, but now everybody loves the you know the label, and everybody gets crazy with this.
It's definitely a centerpiece. I mean, you could keep this one on a, you know, make it into a vase, use it as a water jug, yeah. Reuse it.
Yeah. Well, look at this. The wine is the nose is totally different. It's more about blackberries, dry plum. You see, it's more spicy. It's a totally different nose. The mouthfeel, really elegant, but it's a little bit more volume in the middle mouth. Beautiful finish. I think it's more vertical. It's more leaner. And it has a little bit more volume. Here you have the one of the valleys where this comes from. It's just at the side of this of the winery. At the end of this valley, we have that spot where we get the clay for the amphoras. So these valleys are 1 degree Celsius over the other 3, where we get VIK. So in 2013, I realized that Cabernet Sauvignon in those cool area was more for the style of VIK, and then these 3 valleys give us this kind of new world style, and we divide that, and then we decide to have this style of wine to show this newer part of our terroir. But we didn't know about the label till 2015. And the idea here is to show that personality of the Carboner, and today is the Carboner Day, so it's beautiful to have this chance to talk with you about this. It has this, you know, this expression of the Carboner. It has that freshness, that spicy flavor, that blackberry, but there are no green aspect, you know. It's really elegant, beautiful.
I think it's everything like I fell in love with for Carmenere. Like when I came, like the spice, like that has always been something, and it's so rich and full. It's like something, you know, you can drink around a fire when it's chilly, like at night, and you can sip it all night. I think a lot of times, like Carmenere, like it's definitely a little bit too heavy to be drinking for prolonged periods of time, but this cut with the Cab Sauv, I think it definitely is something that you could be drinking multiple bottles of in an evening around the fireplace, things are cold in the States here, so I know it's your summer, going into your summer.
Yes, yes. Well, we are starting with the spring has been, a beautiful spring. Today we had a beautiful day. It looks like it will be a hot summer, but let's see. With nature, you never know. But yes, it's getting warm now, and you're right. This is a wine that you can have it in a special moment. Very very easy to understand. Beautiful tannins, round and soft. Beautiful volume. It's another style. It's really this wine also is easy, very easy to pair because of the the mouthfeel that you have here. It's really easy to pair from a beautiful barbecue, that steak, to pasta. It's really easy to pair.
Yeah, it's very very round in the mouth, and I think for me, like when I came to Chile, a lot of my favorite pairings are with lamb or beef with this, and so I think now I'm just craving some red meat.
Wow, no, you are totally right. Here we have a dish that is we call it garrón de cordero. It's one part of with the lamb with the bone. It's a part of the leg. It's really very soft, and you just cut it with the spoon. It's not necessarily the knife, and it's with a sauce with wine, and you have it with this wine. It's really it's get mild in your mouth. Really umami flavor. Like, wow, I'm watering. It's really fantastic.
Well, the fat from the meat it just pairs so well, like the Carmenere and if any spice from like a heavy red wine, it just pairs so well with it. So I think for me, also one of my favorite things to do was, like, my guilty pleasure was go out in the afternoon and order empanadas, like fresh empanadas, and that would pair so well with a glass of I'm going to definitely say the name wrong, but La Poubelle.
Yeah, yeah, it will be very good with that. I mean, this is a really dynamic wine in that term. Really easy to drink. It has complexity. It has layer, but a different way from VIK. It also has some flowers in the nose. It has some violets, some lavender from the Syrah. It's a beautiful, beautiful wine.
I also get like a little bit of smoke towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. The oak that I use here, the cooperage that I use here is different. It's a little bit more, the toast that they use is different. Always medium, but this cooperage, their medium toast, it has a different aspect. And it's a little bit more like coffee. So that's why you feel a little bit like smoke. It's part of, to make this wine different from VIK. And VIK also, it's medium toast, but it's another cooperage that it works in a different way from this one that I used to have here. So very good.
That's good. I'm glad I'm not crazy for tasting that.
Yeah. Well, now I have to show you another wine that you have there that you probably didn't see when you came here, which is our rosé.
The bottle is stunning.
Well, this is also a piece of art. So thank you for that. It's a piece of art created by another artist. His name is Javier Dabuson. He is Argentinian Uruguayan. He has been working with the family in the last hotel that they opened in Italy. Galleria Milano, big Galleria Milano, in the Galleria Vittorio in Milan, in the central Milan. It's a beautiful hotel, 150 rooms, all about art again. And when they were working with Javier, they asked him to create something, for this wine, that for us this wine means, what we were looking for this wine was to honor this freshness that we have in all these three wines in our reds. This terroir, it's mainly for reds, more than we can make whites, but not at the same level. This is a special terroir for reds. So we were thinking about to have something for the hotel, something fresh for the food, something for the pool, and something to honor this wine. So then we decided to have this rosé, Cabernet Sauvignon, 85%, 10%, 86%, 10% Cabernet Franc, and then 4% Syrah, and really fresh, but also, a rosé that you can pair with food. So it has some complexity, but mainly something really fresh. Something really fresh. And what I want to have here is a very dynamic rosé based on apricot, peach, maracuya, and also you can feel like white roses here, and there's some fume aspect, which is the wine has been part of the wine. 7% has been in barrel, so you have this sensation of fume, which is to make it a little bit more complex, to make it more kind of to pair with food. Could be fish, would be mussel, sea mussels.
This definitely has a lot more body than a lot of the rosés I've been drinking this summer, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. What we want here is to have that funny aspect of the rosé, that you can have it in the pool, having fun, but also that other aspect that if you want to have it with food, like, could be ceviche, or could be machas a la parmesana. You try the machas a la parmesana here?
Yes. Actually, well, not on property, but I definitely had it in Chile.
Yeah. Well, in Chile, yeah. We normally have machas a la parmesana in Chile, so you can pair that with this. It's so we were thinking about to have this funny part of the rosé, but also this part of the rosé that you can pair with food. You can have it with food, and that was the idea. That's why this time in barrel for 7% of the wine has been in barrel, to cap that smoke, this fume aspect. And since we were trying to have this freshness, to show this freshness, what the family asked to Javier was to make something beautiful about La Pubelle, and he created this beautiful lady, timeless. The idea for him was that she's beautiful in every time, during the 20s, everybody used the hot, during the 70s, everybody looks like, the hippie, but she's timeless. She's pretty every time, that was the idea.
I love that. And so that's what the rosé reflects as well. It's timeless.
Yeah, that was the idea, to have that part that, the freshness, and she's always, beautiful.
I think also this would go really well with you. You just have so much, again, like so much fresh seafood in Chile. And I used to always order like octopus, and I feel like clams and scallops, and those are so fresh, and that this would pair so well with it, just like sitting out on a patio and sipping it with that. But it also has enough structure where you don't have to necessarily get it as a sipper. You could, like you said, pair it with a meat. You could even pair it with red meat, I think.
Yes, you're totally right. It's really a wine that you can move, that you can have it with pasta. It's really a rosé that it's really dynamic in that term.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of grip there. I like that it finishes dry, so it's like very sweet at first. It finishes pretty dry, but most rosés I'm accustomed to drinking are like, they're quite dry at first and they finish maybe a little sweet. So I like that it's the opposite.
Yep, totally right. Yeah, it has that. It's totally right. It has that freshness. It looked like in some terms it looked like sweet. It's the same sensation in the mouth. It finished dry. Totally. I agree. You know, this is new. This is how we have been working since 2018. We started with a few quantity, thinking about this. Everybody loves it in the hotel. So then our partners in US and Brazil, they start to ask for this wine, and this has been like a ball in the snow, you know, growing and not growing. So next year we'll see. But the good thing is that what I love is that it has that personality of the freshness of this terroir. It's also has a beautiful aromas. It has that flower aspect, you know, white roses, petals. It's beautiful wine.
It is delicious. So do you think, I know the rosé is new for you, so do you think you'll dabble in anything next year? Do you have any plans?
Well, we have to work on that. We have, you know, this is about Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, which are our main varieties and the one that really they're giving us that freshness. And so we can grow. Everybody loves the bottle, loves the label, loves the wine. So we'll have some more next year. And so hopefully it has been really successful. And let's see. You know that the Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc, as Rose said, is not really normal, and so everybody loves the wine, and we will have a little bit more next year, I think.
I love it.
Yeah.
Always exciting things coming out from you guys.
Well, you know, this start more than from an idea to honor our wine, to honor that freshness of this terroir, to have something fun in the hotel. But then everybody tastes the wine and they love it, and you know, this start to grow just like that. You know, like boom, 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 and this idea we started, and now it's, you know, getting crazy everywhere. The label is doing really good. It's art wine, you know.
Well, it's so different. I think the label for you guys, and after having been around for a few years, and then you switch it up, people are so intrigued by it. So you definitely were very smart in that aspect. And yeah, I like both. I like the classic. Like, I love this VIK label. I think, again, it's like super iconic for you guys. But this is incredible. I mean, it is a work of art. So I think you're doing all the right things.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, we have some few more minutes, and before to finish, I would like to know I would like to make two or three questions to you. It's possible?
Okay.
Well,
let's do it.
We were talking that you have been in a lot of different places. You have been here. There's some special place that you recommend to our audience to go, that you, from your personal point of view, you feel something different. You were talking about Chile. You have been in all over the world. So there are some places where you recommend us to go.
Well, Chile definitely holds a very special place in my heart. So everyone, please go there, and please go to Colchagua Valley and VIK. Amazing people, culture, food, and wine. You will not regret it. And then in terms of the rest of the world, I actually did just get back from one of my favorite places in the whole world. Morocco has long stolen my heart. It's just, again, the people, the food, the culture is just, it's very, it's amazing to be there and to visit and to experience something so different from what you've grown up with. You get to interact with such amazing humans, and that, along with food and wine, like, people make a trip for me, and they're just very gracious, welcoming people. So if you go to Morocco, particularly Marrakesh, so this is my second time going, and I was just there, so if you look at my feed, it will just be all of my recent activities, and they are open for tourism right now, so we can, you can count on being able to visit there. And then, yeah, South America is just very special to me. So I think everyone should just go visit there.
Thank you. Well, if you have to pair with La Pubelle and VIK, what you will choose? You already said lamb with La Pubelle and VIK?
Lamb and empanada for La Pubelle. But I can't make an empanada, so I really need to come back to Chile. And I took a cooking class, but I can't remember anything. And for, I think just like, I think it would be amazing to do like a super, like spicy, pasta clam, like scallop dish, which I've had on the coast with La Pubelle as well. That could be really good. Or honestly, the rosé now that I've had the rosé. And then in terms of the VIK, the 2013, I think that would be really, again, I think it would be good to sit by a fire, maybe have a couple of glasses of wine, and then move on to something else, because it's so rich on its own. I kind of enjoy tasting the delicious flavors. Like maybe have that as a dessert.
Wow. Well, and do you have any special music that moves you, you know, when you're tasting wine or when you're traveling? There's some music that you like to listen?
My music is so eclectic, but I will say if I'm listening any live music, like I love traveling to South America. I love traveling to little cafes in like Spain and France, because there's always some sort of live band on. And you find it in the States too, but it just seems more special when you're traveling. So any live music I think is so special when you have a gorgeous glass of wine in front of you and you're just sipping it. Everything tastes better, everything feels better. And I would highly recommend, no matter where you're traveling, to try to listen to some live music.
Wow. Wow. Good. Just the last one. We have just, I think it's 1 more minute or something. Just the last question before to say goodbye. If you have to be a wine, La Pubelle Rosé or La Pubelle Red, which one you will be?
I have to go with the red. I think it's, I don't know if it's because it's chilly in the States now. Like I said, we're going into winter, but La Pubelle Red is my choice. The spicy, like complex, intense flavors, really, really appreciate it. And again, just such a beautiful expression of Carmenere.
Wow. Well, today is the Carmenere Day, so it's amazing choice. Well, Jillian, thank you very much for this time. We are really happy that you give us this opportunity to be with you today. And
thank you so much, Christian.
Thanks again. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
When everything comes back to the normality, you're more than welcome here. And
thank you.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you again soon.
Wow.
Thanks everyone as well for tuning in. Cheers.
Bye-bye. Cheers.